I'm April Marie Fogel. I'm the State Director of Americans for Prosperity. How many of y'all are familiar with Americans for Prosperity? Look at that. They have a mobile one. All right. Americans for Prosperity is a grassroots activism organization. We are all about boots on the ground, writing and calling your members, making sure that the only time they don't think about us and hear from us is Election Day. They need to hear from us every time there's an important issue, every time there's an important vote. They need to be held accountable. Are we for that? Yeah? It's hot out here. You guys are dragging today. How many of y'all wrote or called your member on high-speed rail to tell them that was a bad policy and bad use of your dollars? Good job. Applause for you guys, because that is where our voices made a difference. People are often saying right now that what is going on with the Tea Party movement? Are they going to go away? Are they going to fade? I'm telling you, you're here to say no. Americans for Prosperity is here to make sure the answer to that is no. Thank you. One of the things we're doing right now is, as was mentioned, the Keep 'em Honest Tour, which is all about accountability in Tallahassee. In Tallahassee, under the watch of Republican legislature and a Republican governor, they grew taxes and fees by $2 billion. How many of y'all went and felt that pinch when you went to renew your car license or driver's license this year? It's ridiculous. That was done under a Republican legislature. That's not to happen again. So our organization is up in Tallahassee watching every bill to stop tax and fee increases. We're up there to say, not so much. We've got, I believe Herodopoulos is on his way here. We've had an issue with the state Senate. They seem to forget who they work for once they enter Tallahassee. We've got some conservative Republicans who are carrying bills that include fees. I'm not kidding. I heard this last week. But it's only $2.30 a month for every Floridian. Only $2.30. That's the mentality that leads to $5 and $10 and $100. That's the mentality that got our government, state and local, state and federal, in the place we are right now. It's that spending of your dollars, of our hard-earned dollars, one penny at a time. So every penny is too much. Do you guys agree? That bill that I was just mentioning, that's $2.30 every Floridian, is an energy bill that would give money to the 4 biggest electric companies in the state, including FPL. We wrote and called our members. You can still go on our website. It's not too late. We wrote and called our members. We got over 1,700 emails spent in 24 hours and told the Senate, we're watching you. Don't even think about it. $2.30 a month is too much. Why? Because we're Republicans. Why? Because we're conservatives. Why? Because we're Americans and we're not giving companies our money. That's absurd. So that's what Americans for Prosperity is for. It's about actually holding them accountable and making sure they remember the promises. It's very easy to give a stump speech and say, less government, less taxes, fiscal responsibility. It's a different thing to be in Tallahassee or D.C. And we have good guys in Tallahassee and D.C. who need to hear from us because they need to be able to say when FPL walks into their office, when a special interest walks into their office, you know, you're great and you wrote me a campaign check and all that good stuff, but I have 1,700 constituents. I have 2,000 constituents. I have 10,000 constituents who wrote me and called me and told me this was a bad bill. And so thanks for the check, but I'm still going to vote my conscience. I'm still going to vote to keep the promise that I made to my constituents. Isn't that what we want them to do? They have a tough budget fight going on in D.C. right now. How many of y'all are watching the budget fight in Washington, D.C.? Our president and our U.S. Senate Majority Leader is hoping we're not paying attention. They're hoping we fall asleep on the job and that we just let them do what's best for us. What they've decided is best for us. We need to pay attention to what they're doing. We need to pay attention to what Boehner's doing versus what Ryan's doing. We need to pay attention to what they campaigned on versus what is getting put into these bills. And we need to call them and keep them honest. You guys gonna be with me on that? That's what this is about. This is about doing the right thing because it's the right thing and it's because it's what they promised us they do. No ifs, ands, or buts. And they've got excuses. Oh, but it's hard. Oh, but the bill contains good things as well as the bad things. Oh, but you know, when I ran, I didn't realize they're gonna increase your fees, but it's for renewable energy. Isn't renewable energy great? Don't we need that right now? No. Here we are closing off markets, not drilling for oil, not looking at competitive options for energy, and they want to increase your fees and taxes. But it's for a good cause. We're not going to have that in Tallahassee. We're not going to have that in Washington, D.C. We're going to make sure they mind their P's and Q's and keep their promises. So I need all of you to help me with that. The website is keepemhonestflorida.com. That's keepemhonestflorida.com. It's an M is with an EM, because I'm a Titusville girl. Do many of y'all know where Titusville, Florida is? We don't complete words over there all the time. I blame the public education system. So keepemhonestflorida.com, and you can learn what they're doing in Tallahassee, look at what they're doing in Washington, D.C., and become a part of the solution. Because rallying is phenomenal. Watching your TV and screaming at them helps a little. But actually making sure your members know that you are paying attention to each and every vote, that's the best thing you can do. Calling your neighbors, calling your friends, calling your family, making this the water cooler talk. How many of y'all talked about Donald Trump this week? Yeah, a lot of people talking about Donald Trump this week. We need to make sure that the passion we have for politicians when it comes to campaigning is not lost once they hold office. They have to understand that this isn't every 2 and every 4 years that we look at them. Gus Bilirakis, Vern Buchanan, all of our members here, Congressman Young, they all need Castor. They all need to know. They all need to know we're watching. And at the end of the day, we're going to hold them accountable. And if they think we won't, then they can look at Congressman Grayson, Congresswoman Cosmas, Congressman Boyd, Congressman Klein, who are all incumbents with that incumbent advantage who got tossed out by voters who paid attention to what their votes did. They can look at Charlie Crist. Good call. Good call. Everybody thought good old Charlie Crist was unbeatable. No, Charlie Crist beat himself. And he did that because he wouldn't hold firm on principles. Some would say he was unprincipled. He did this because we paid attention to what he said versus what he did, and we knew that what he did didn't match. And that's why he is not our U.S. Senator, and why we have the phenomenal likes of Marco Rubio, who's speaking in just a moment. Again, keepemhonestflorida.com. Our organization is Americans for Prosperity. I'm the State Director, April Marie Fogel. We have just over 87,000 members in Florida, 1.7 million around the nation, one of the fastest growing grassroots organizations, and I would love to have you guys be a part of it and make sure that the accountability is key. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming. Great Americans, great patriots. It's good to be here.